Jonas Taylor stood on the lookout deck of the lighthouse, staring at a tranquil sea. The remains of an early morning fog obscured the view of the Olympic mountain range and the shores of Vancouver Island. There were no boats visible on the horizon. Below, a team of marine biologists continued the Herculean task of photographing, measuring, and tagging each killer whale carcass. Park officials had already hauled 4 of the beached mammals onto flatbed trucks using a winch and chain. Now they turned their attention to the bloated, bleeding corpses floating in the shallows of Dead Man's Cove. Mac joined Jonas out on the deck. "There are 2 head honchos we need to deal with. Captain Michael Royston is the U.S. Coast Guard sector commander. He's en route aboard an MH-65C helicopter. You're on the top of his shit list, being that he had to shut down all whale watching and sport fishing tours over the last 36 hours. Then there's Nick Van Sicklen, head of the Whale Museum in Friday Harbor. As bad as Royston has it for us, Van Sicklen has it worse. Apparently, this Whale Museum has an Adopt an Orca program, and the sisters decimated the equivalent of an entire orphanage. Van Sicklen is organizing a flotilla to protect the other resident orcapods, only he can't kill Bela and Lizzy, as they're protected under the same marine sanctuary rules as the orca. Of course, if a bigger predator feeds on another predator, who's to say?" "They weren't feeding, Mac. I've examined the wounds. The sisters bled them, but these are not big bites. They took out the flutes and pectoral fins, but left the meat. Orcas aren't even high in the Meg's diet. They lack the fat content of a baleen whale. No, I think this was more of a territorial dispute, and the kayakers found themselves in the middle of it." "The sisters are territorializing these waters?" Jonas and Mac turned, confronted by an angry man in his mid-20s, his short-cropped brown hair poking out beneath a University of Florida baseball cap. Mac stepped between them. "Jonas, meet Nick Van Sicklen, head of the Whale Museum and director of the Sea Sound Remote Sensing Network program. Nick's group has hydrophones anchored throughout the San Juan Island channels. He's fluent in Orca." Van Sicklen ignored the compliment, along with the offered handshake. "Your sharks butchered my whales." "And a woman," Mac reminded him. "I'm just saying." "Look, kid, if you want to blame me for what happened, get in line behind the victim's lawyers. For the record, and the story was in every paper, the animal rights wackos freed Bela and Lizzy, not us. Having said that, we're here to prevent any more attacks." "How?" "Yeah, how?" Mac asked. Jonas shot his friend a glare. "We're going to help the Coast Guard track down the Megs and kill them." "You can't kill them. The Salish Sea is a protected marine sanctuary." "Why don't you let us worry about that? I saw the hydrophone set up inside. Maybe you can give us an idea where the other orcapods are located." Van Sicklen led them inside to 3 listening stations, each equipped with a computer hard drive, monitor, speakers, and headphones. "We can identify pods and their activities by the types of sounds we hear. Orcas are able to generate a wide variety of sounds by forcing air in and out of a complex network of passages and cavities located in their foreheads, or melons. Clicks are generally used to echolocate food and other underwater objects. Squealing sounds are what orca use to communicate with one another. The Salish Sea has 3 distinct groups of orca: resident, transient, and offshore killer whales. These groups are genetically quite different from one another, and they possess unique vocabularies, which may be one reason why they don't interact socially. They also have different diets. Resident orca, better known as southern resident killer whales, or SRKW, are all derived from J-clan, then subdivided into 3 matriarchal lines. SRKWs are fish eaters with a preference for salmon. They use sonar clicks to locate their prey and communicate frequently to other resident orca. Your sharks attack members of K-pod. There are still 11 members unaccounted for. Transient killer whales feed on other sea mammals: seals, sea lions, dolphins, porpoises, and the occasional gray whale. As a result, they're much quieter when they're hunting. As far as we can tell, West Coast, or what we call offshore orca, are fish eaters like our residents. They usually hunt just outside the Juan de Fuca Strait.